5 minutes to go before the start of the men's game. Some final women's stats. Whitman women with a 74-39 win. Whitman shot 41% from the floor, 33% from three, 87% from the line, and held the Pirates to just 26% from the floor, 14 from three, and 64 from the line. Whitman out-rebounded the Pirates 47-29. Whitman was led by the 22 points and 14 rebounds of Emelina Baker and the 21 points and 7 rebounds of Morgan Montgomery. And that'll send Whitman 3-0 on the road for the next 3 games, 3 big ones, at Linfield this Friday at 5:30, and then at Lewis and Clark and at George Fox next weekend. Both a 5:30 start on the 16th and a 3 p.m. start on the 17th. That'll be quite the road trip for the Blues, as I believe those are the 3 teams to pick to finish top 3 in the conference. Whitman picked to finish 4th. So that gets us ready here for tonight's men's action, which should be quite a game. Again, this has been the 2 teams that have played for the conference championship. I believe it's 7 out of the last 8 conference championship games, last year being the one exception. Whitworth got upset in the first round of the conference tournament by Lewis and Clark, and then Lewis and Clark then beat Whitman to advance to the national tournament and win the conference tournament championship. That was the first time Whitworth hadn't been in the conference tournament championship in 20 years. Whitworth enters the game 8-3, 2-0 in conference, towards the bottom end of the receiving votes in the most recent top 25 poll on d3hoops.com, led by last week's Player of the Week, Stephen Behill, who is averaging almost 18 points a game, 4th in the conference in scoring. Would be 2nd in the conference in free throws attempted, or free throw percentage, but I don't know if he has enough attempted. I don't really know, although he's attempted 24, so you would think so, but he's shooting almost 92% from the line, and then he's 6th in the conference in rebounding. And Ben Nyquist averaging almost 14 a game, shooting 54% from the floor, 10th in the conference in assists per game, and 2nd in the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio. Whitman comes in after splitting last weekend, beat the Pacific Boxers shorthanded 92-88, and then unable to overcome their turnover woes against the Willamette Bearcats in what was a little bit of just kind of a slow, not super clean game. Whitman succumbed to the Bearcats 55-58 and had 30 turnovers. So 55 turnovers last weekend for the Blues in those 2 games. Now again, Whitworth had 20 turnovers against Pacific as well. So a lot of that 55 turnovers has to do with the style of play of the Bearcats and the Boxers, but Whitman needs to look to clean it up a little bit if they're going to have a chance to beat the Pirates tonight. Whitman 4th in the conference in scoring, 5th in the conference in scoring at 75.5 a game. 1st in the conference in field goal percentage, though, and 2nd in the conference in three-point shooting. 1st in the conference in assists per game. Now, again, the conference site has stats slightly different than what are on Whitman's website. I don't know which ones are entirely accurate, but I'm going off of the stats on the conference website when I'm giving those rankings. Whitman led by number 7, Milos Srenic, at 13.2 per game, 7th in the conference in scoring, shooting 49%, 2nd in the conference in field goal percentage, 1st in the conference in rebounding. And Jacob Fotu at 13 points a game. Fotu is actually 1st in the conference in field goal percentage. And then Ken Higgins, who we'll talk about tonight, averaging 9 a game, but is averaging almost 18 a game in his last 4, is 2nd in the conference in three-point shooting percentage at 44% on the season. So let's send you down for tonight's starting lineups as we get ready for tonight's Northwest Conference men's action. Starters for the Pirates are number 5, Ty Edwards, number 10, Caden Bateman, number 11, Ben Nyquist, number 15, Stephen Behill, and number 33, Colton Looney. Whitman with Milos Sharanitz, Ali F.I. Ishik, Xavier Santana, Bernard Desi, and Ken Higgins. Ishik, if you did not hear, just passed the 1,000-point mark on Saturday night, is at 1,002 points, just the 13th player in Whitman College history to reach the 1,000-point mark in his career. So Whitworth starts off moving the ball. Cross pick, down pick in the interior. Behill getting in the lane, their leading scorer. Hits a jumper to open up the scoring. Whitman playing some man-to-man, which is their trademark. They'll show some zone here and there. Whitworth playing man-to-man. I have not seen a ton of zone from Whitworth over the years, although I believe, if I remember right, in one of the games last year, they played some zone that really disrupted Whitman late in the game. Ball deflected. Behill rips it away. Higgins on the floor. Nyquist able to dig it out. So first turnover there for the Blues on their first possession. Looney will try a three out of the corner, in and out. Xavier Santana inserted in the starting lineup here recently. Actually, I think tonight is his first start. George Lazarevic seems to still be out for the Blues. Had an ankle injury last weekend. Oh, they called Desi for the travel. So 2 early turnovers for the Blues. It looks like Sharp Gerkberg sat out Saturday night, I believe, with a foot injury. He seems to be in uniform tonight. We'll see if he's available. Back pick action for the Pirates. Nyquist trying to get by. Nyquist on Santana. Nyquist will draw the foul. That'll be Santana's first, team first. Whitworth basketball with a fresh 20 on the shot clock on the right baseline. 2-0 lead, 18:43 to go, first half. Behill coming around the screen. Knocks down the 15-footer again. Trying to get his teammates on the bench fired up after 4 quick ones. Sharanitz into Desi. Huge starting lineup for the Pirates. Smallest player on the court for them is 6'3". Ishik with the 3. Got it! Ali F.I. Ishik with a deep 3. Just 29% on the season, but has been shooting it much better as of late. Up to almost 11 points a game. Little pick and roll action. That's number 10, Caden Bateman. Misses the first one. Gets his own rebound, misses the second one. Ball batted around. Sharanitz away with the rebound. His first of the night. Again, leading the conference in rebounding at about 10.5 a game. Whitman trying to get it into Desi. Ishik's going to try another one. In and out. Desi bats it around. Ishik trying to chase down the rebound, but Behill's going to grab it instead. Into Bateman. Bateman with a little turnaround jumper over Sharanitz, off the mark. Santana away with the rebound. Whitworth back in numbers, though. No transition opportunity for the Blues here. Nyquist, a little confusion there, but able to get back to Santana before any issues. Whitman gets it moving here. Sharanitz tries to get in the lane. Ball gets deflected out by Bateman. Whitman already with some subs. Jacob Fotu in for the first time for the Blues. Fotu, 6'6", sophomore out of Auckland, New Zealand. And then also in Mehmet Benner, number 5, 6-foot redshirt sophomore out of Ankara, Turkey. Higgins, that's the guy we talked about a little bit in the opening. Been shooting it really well, averaging almost 18 a game over his last 4 games. Shooting well over 50%. 56%. He's 19 for 34 from 3. Whitworth with a bad foul there, fouling Fotu with 1 on the shot clock. That'll be the first on Colton Looney, 6'6" senior out of Vancouver, Washington. And that sends Fotu to the line. Again, Fotu averaging 13 points a game, shooting 65% from the line. First in the conference in field goal percentage at 52%. Misses the first free throw, though. As I was saying, really tall starting lineup for Whitworth. Nyquist at 6'3", Looney at 6'6", and then Bateman, Behill, and Edwards all at 6'7". So pretty good length for Whitworth. Fotu gets 1 out of 2, and we're tied at 4. Behill with the mishandle. Benner, nice job to loses his balance, goes down to one knee, back up in time to be able to guard Nyquist. Nyquist gets in the lane, little runner off the mark. Ball batted around, though. It's going to be Edwards that tracks it down. Fotu ends up on Nyquist. That's a bit of a mismatch. Nyquist definitely travels. Instead, they get Behill. I think that's a little bit of a makeup call because I'm not sure Behill traveled, but they had missed the one on Nyquist. 0 Kobe Parlin in for the Pirates. 6'2" junior out of Longview, Washington. Transfer in from Central out of Mark Morris High School. And of course, there's the officials making it was interesting. The officials are really touchy about untucked jersey in the men's game. And then we saw Saturday night against in the women's game, the Willamette Bearcats basically played the entire game with their jersey out, all of their players. So it was almost like a uniform statement by them. So I found that interesting. It has no effect on the game whatsoever, which is why I think it's a dumb rule, but just one of those things that is stuck in my brain is I need to ask somebody a question as to why that's that way. Benner there with the foul. His first, team second. Sarp Garkberg in for the first time for the Blues. Coach Lamanna upset with Milos about something, some type of offensive movement didn't seem to indicate something about just cutting. Higgins battling Looney hard. Looney able to get the mishandle back, though, and turn around and lay it in. Whitworth back up 2. Kirkberg into the front court. Brush screen foul. And that'll take us to our first media timeout after the foul on Sarp. His first, team third. And so with 15:46 to go, we'll head to a media break. Whitman trails Whitworth 4-6. $15:46 to go, media timeout. As I was saying there, just want to mention it one more time. Ali Faishik on Saturday night surpassed the 1,000-point mark. He's at 1,002. Did it right towards the end of the game, so we didn't get a chance to really announce it. Didn't want to draw a bunch of attention to it before it and jinx it somehow. So 13th player in Whitman College history to score 1,000. So congratulations to Ali Faishik. So it should be Whitworth basketball after the offensive foul called. Again, that's a brush screen call. So if you're cutting through the lane, you're not allowed to set a screen again unless you set your feet. So you can't just cut through and what would be called a pick play in football. It's called a brush screen in basketball. And if you make contact while you're moving, it's supposed to be called a foul. So that's the third Whitman turnover. Parlin into the front court. Guarded by Benner. So it's Parlin, Looney, Edwards with the ball. Number 14, Ben Freed in for the first time. And Behill was back in. Whitman with Ishik guarding the ball. Fotu showing on the screen. That's Girkberg guarding Looney. Higgins on the rebound with Freed. Might get called for the foul. And then Jacob Fotu, number 42. Fouls on 30. Ken Higgins, his first. Again, 6'3" sophomore out of Walla Walla, Washington. And that'll send Ben Freed to the line, a 6'1" sophomore out of Liberty Lake, Washington. Went to West Valley Spokane High School. Freed off the mark on the first one. 44% from the line on the year, so it might have been a good foul there by Higgins. Milos Sharanich checks back in for Whitman. Freed with one more here. Sharanitz trying to change spots here. Figure out who's boxing out who. Freed really short on the second one. Ishik into the front court, finds Benner, right back to Ishik. Ishik with the little pull-up. That's short. They're going to say it was out off of, I believe, Edwards' leg. So we have Whitman basketball, 19 on the shot clock on the left baseline. Ali F.I. Ishik to inbound it. Officials confer about a reset on the shot clock, but no reset because it didn't hit the rim. Into Fotu, back to Ishik. Ooh, a little surprised Ishik didn't get a double dribble there. Sharanitz off the mark. Looney away with the rebound. Again, there's that length of Whitworth kind of affecting Whitman shooters. Looney out of the corner. Got it. Colton Looney, third on the team in scoring at 11.6 per game. 8th in three-point field goal percentage. And I believe in the top 10 in terms of three-point makes, too. Milos is going to try a three out of the corner. Off the mark. Behill away with it. 9-4 lead for Whitworth. Ahead to Edwards. Looking for Looney again. Looney might run back out to the three-point line and try another one. Sharanitz gets to him in time. Freed. That's going to be 2 on Benner. Tried to jump in and take the charge, so Bernard Desi back in for Sarp. Kirkberg. So Whitman goes big here. This is probably Whitman's biggest lineup with Lazarevic out. Again, Lazarevic at 6'6". Usually adds a bunch of length for Whitman at the wing, but with him being out, Whitman's a little bit smaller. So go to Fotu and Desi. You don't see them on the court together very often, but against the bigger lineup. Ball batter. Benner's got to be careful. Benner's already got 2. Reaching in from behind there after the great deflection initially, but as he was trying to get the tie up, had his arm wrapped around the Whitworth player, so but was an alternating possession. So after Whitworth winning the tip, Whitman gets the first alternate possession at the 4:13 mark of the first half. Subs in for Whitworth. I'll get him to you as soon as I can see him. So it's Parlin, number 12, Dylan Westermeyer in for the first time. 14 is Freed. This is where Whitman had some issues the other day. Freed with the foul there. First on him, second team foul. Ken Higgins will check back in for Fotu. So for Whitworth, it's Parlin, Westermeyer, Freed, number 10, Caden Bateman back in, as well as Behill. And for Whitman, it's Higgins, Desi, Benner, Ishik, and Milos Sharanitz. Ishik with the ball. 6'4" junior out of Bursa, Turkey. Whitman gets the ball moving here, tries to get some cutters going. Finds Desi in the high post. Nice back cut by Sharanitz. Gets hit by Parlin, but no call. Behill away with another rebound. Whitworth doing a good job on the glass early. Nice deflection by Benner, but right into the hands of Caden Bateman. Bateman's got his first bucket. Whitworth with the 11-4 lead here early on. Whitworth coming with the trap. Benner's going to try the deep three. Got it. Mehmet Benner with his first bucket of the night. He's a 43% three-point shooter on the season, which again I believe is only second on the team to Higgins. Behill down the lane. Ishik chasing him. Ishik's too late. So if Benner can hit a couple threes for Whitman, that would be a nice little added offensive punch. Benner's averaging under 5 points a game on the season, so again, if he ends up hitting a couple, that would be a big lift for the Blues. Desi in the lane. He's going to try to go up over Bateman. Bateman with a good contest. Ball batted around, though. Desi able to get it back out to Benner. Benner's going to try another one. Off the mark. Sharanitz battling for the rebound. Nice play by Behill to flip it over his head to Parlin. Parlin into the front court's going to attack Desi. Desi does a good job of contesting, but Bateman initially gets the rebound. Ball batted around. It's out to Freed. Behill's going to up fake, step through, and try the three. In and out. Desi's trying to save it to Higgins. Nice job there. Whoa, Higgins with a little bit of a mishandle. Able to calm it down here. Whitman able to get set up. Desi's going to try the 3 in transition, off the mark. Whitworth doing a good job of cleaning up the glass right now. Now an 11-5 advantage on the glass. Looks like Fotu, Dark Burke, and Julian Witt, 6'4" sophomore out of Nevada City, California, will come in the next time for the Blues. Westermeyer, the lefty, off from 3. Coach Lamanna wants a 30-second timeout. That should stretch to a full, because we should be at the under 12. So 30-second timeout for Coach Lamanna. That will send us to a quick break here. Whitman trails Whitworth 7-13. $11:55 to go, first half here. Whitworth leads Whitman 13-7. Right now, Whitworth winning the rebounding 11-7, which is a big stat in this game because Whitman is first in the conference in rebound margin. Whitworth is third. It's actually a pretty similar margin. Whitman at 7.4, plus 7.4. Whitworth at plus 6.6. So whoever can win that and have that go in their favor like it usually does, that should be a big advantage for that team because both teams kind of rely on that quite a bit. Whitman just 18% from the floor, just 2 for 11 right now. Whitworth 6 for 15. Whitworth just 1 for 4. Whitman 2 for 6 from 3. Whitworth 0 for 2 from the line. Whitman 1 for 2 from the line. Turnovers, not a significant factor for either team, just 3 for the Blues and 2 for the Pirates. So Whitman with Benner, Witt, Kirkberg, Higgins, and Fotu. Whitworth with Nyquist back in, Bateman, Westermeyer, number 20, Brian Caldera in for the first time. And that's Fotu with a 3. He shoots 37% from out there, so really efficient. So again, who did I miss? Oh, Behill was the last one. Don't want to miss him. He's already got 6 and is Whitworth's leading scorer. Good deflection there by Higgins. Out to Westermeyer. The lefty will try the 3 again. Way long this time. So has missed 2 from that same spot. And Whitman down 4 has the ball. Cross screen action, or a little cross cut action again out of that high post. Benner's wide open. Gets in the lane with the floater. Overplay there, I believe it was by Westermeyer. Let Benner get easily to the rim. Whitworth players unable to recover. Whitman closes the lead to 2. Deep 2-point jumper. Somehow goes in. Caldera gets quite the bounce there. The 6'3" grad senior from Spokane, Washington. Higgins with a good ball fake there. Whitman really trying to swing the ball quickly, working off that high post, maybe having Fotu step out. Off the mark this time. Behill with another rebound. I believe that's 4 or 5 for him. So Behill having a good night. Scoring the ball and on the glass. His 4th rebound, 6 points, 4 rebounds. Mishandle there, though. Nyquist able to track it down. Fotu shows quickly. They get it back to Bateman. Julian Whitgard and Behill. Behill with a little step back. Got it. Again, Behill, 6'7" senior out of Camas, Washington. Kirkberg hits Fotu, looks for the back cut. Kick there by, I believe it was by Bateman. Looney and Edwards are coming back in for Whitworth. Ishik and Desi back in for the Blues. It'll be Blues basketball, 22 on the shot clock. Again, on a kicked ball, it's a reset to 20 in the front court unless the clock still has over 20 on it, which it did in this case, 22, so it stays at 22. Again, you get the higher of the two. Higgins with the little back screen pops out. His defender gets hung up. Just off the mark, though. Ishik tries to bat it away, but Caldera is going to come away with it. Higgins trying to get his first bucket of the night there. Gets switched on to Behill. A little bit of a mismatch. He's going to have to battle down there. Caldera for a three out of the corner, or out of the wing. Hits it. Nice little skip pass on the backside there by Nyquist to find Caldera, and the lead's up to 9. So a quick little 7-0 run here for the Pirates after Whitman got it back to 11-13. Desi with the mishandle. Ishik looking to go at Edwards here. Edwards has been one of the conference leaders in block shots pretty much his entire career. Ishik, nice left-handed lay-in, unable to finish. Behill with another rebound. Edwards just with 9 block shots this year. I feel like he's been a guy over his career that's averaged almost 2 a game. Off the mark here by the Pirates. Whitman away with the ball. Looking to get it into Desi. That come together screen where one player will come to the ball, one player will cut to the basket. Whitman gets a lot of back cuts out of that. Garkberg down the lane. Whitworth wanted to travel. Ishik off the mark. Caldera with the nice box out. Again, the hard part about that is it's a stride stop, so it all comes down to whether or not the offensive player drags his foot. If the offensive player doesn't drag his foot, it's not a travel there. Fouls, and I think it's going to be called on Julian Witt there for the bump. Yep. Witt's first, team 5th now. No, team 6th. Nate Crone, 6'4", sophomore out of Renton, Washington, in for the first time for Whitworth. Jacob Fotu about to check back in. Milos Sharanec just checked back in. Milos, again, 6'4", sophomore out of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Into Edwards. Edwards will look to go to work on Fotu. Tries to step through. Good job by Fotu. Nice help by Milos. Whitman's a little out of sorts on the rotation, though. Nyquist gets open. Looked like maybe one too many players rotated there. Didn't necessarily need to, and they didn't get to that last rotation. Higgins will look at the three, gets in the lane. Nice kick out to Milos. Milos will drive in, spin back, but Nyquist with nice help. Garkberg gets in the lane. Nice penetrate kick out to Fotu. Fotu off the mark. Sarp unable to save it inbounds, and it ends up being Whitworth basketball. And with a 23-11 lead, that'll take us to the under 8 media timeout. .726 remains first half. Whitman just unable to get it going right now. Shooting just 22%, 4 for 18 from the floor, 2 for 10 from 3. Have had some really good looks from 3 by some of their better shooters. Higgins had a good look. Fotu's had a couple of good looks, is now 0 for 2 from 3. Just Ishik and Benner have the only 2 threes right now for the Blues. And that's how Whitworth has a 23-11 lead. Turnovers haven't been an issue. Again, that was a big issue for Whitman on Saturday with 30 turnovers against Willamette. And when you lose by 30 and have lose by 3 and have 30 turnovers, that's a rough one to swallow, because you probably had some opportunities to win that game, which Whitman did. So out of the timeout, it'll be Whitworth basketball with Edwards, Nyquist, Looney, Crone, and Behill. Whitman with Benner on the ball, Garkberg, Fotu, Higgins, and Ishik round out the Blues lineup. Little double high post action. Nice job by Garkberg to jump that. Looked like Benner was beat on the back pick for Nyquist, but Kirkberg comes off of his guy, able to grab that. Ooh, maybe had Ishik on the curl cut there. Handoff maybe coming. Nope, Fotu's just going to back down, go to work. Gets the double, kicks it out, finds Benner. Benner already hit one, got his second. Again, Whitworth really not leaving Higgins much with as well as Higgins has shot the ball lately, but Benner is a very capable shooter as well. Nyquist with the deep two. Foot was still on the line with the step back. (26-14), 6:31 to go. Trying to get Fotu in the post. Again, some good penetrate kicks to action from Whitman, but haven't got any of the usual kind of cuts that they get. Fotu, tough little jump hook. Probably forced that one a little bit. There's Crone getting in the lane, exploring, finding Edwards. Edwards is going to go to work on Fotu, come back to the right hand. Got the little right-handed jump hook for Ty Edwards. See if Whitman can put together a little run here. Find a couple of open looks for Higgins or maybe Benner. Ishik thought about the three. He's going to get in the lane instead. Ishik thought he got fouled and said they're going to say out off of Ishik's foot after the deflection, I believe, by Crone. Bernard Desi back in for Whitman. And Kobe Parlin back in for the Pirates. Pirates 27-14, 5:41 to go. First half with the ball. Parlin thought about trying to go quick, but Ishik with the good defense. Desi jumps Nyquist. Trying to get it back into Edwards again. Edwards going to try to go to work on Desi now. Desi a little longer, a little more athletic defender than Fotu. But there's Parlin with the deep three. Whitman kind of paying a little too much attention to Edwards in the post. Able to throw a good skip pass out to Parlin, and Parlin gives Whitworth a 30-14 lead. Whitman just really struggling to get quality looks on the offensive end, and then when they do, knock them down. Garkberg gets in. Foul's going to be on Nyquist. His first, team third. Milo Sharanets back in for Ali Efaishik. Caden Bateman checking back in for the Pirates. Whitman with a little 1-4 high action on the inbounds. Sarp to inbound. Benner running out, looking for the three. Instead, it's over the top to Desi. Desi looking to get it back to Mehmet. Mehmet swings it. Sarp looking in to Bernard in the post. Back out to Higgins. Higgins defended by Crone. Good job by Crone. 7 on the shot clock. 6. Benner trying to get in the lane. Gets bumped. Sarp's going to try the three and got it. And somebody on the Whitworth bench said a little too much. They thought it was a travel. Tech's going to be called, so the three-pointer is good by Sarp Garkberg. The technical foul now, again, regardless of who it's on, if it's on the bench, it goes on Jablonski. So Coach Jablonski with a tech, even though I don't think it was him that said it. It didn't look like the official was reacting to Jablonski, and it didn't look like he was really saying anything. But had multiple assistants standing up yelling at the officials, which generally not going to go very well. Benner misses the first one. This should be point of interruption, so after the three went in, even though Whitman got the 2 free throws here, it should be Whitworth basketball. So Benner goes 1 for 2. Mehmet, the 6-foot redshirt sophomore at Ankara, Turkey. Ankara. No subs, I think, either way. So Crone, Parlin, Looney, Nyquist, and Bateman. Bateman kind of hanging out behind the zone here. Whitman kind of leaves some players behind the zone. Tries to almost force people to throw skip passes. Bateman with a tough little turnaround. Parlin almost with an amazing save. Very athletic play. Benner into the front course with Shadranitz. Benner's going to try the three off the mark. Higgins, Garkberg, and Desi. So Benner off the mark there. Ball gets batted out by the Blues, and it's 12-point lead for the Pirates. 4:09 to go. Pirate basketball. Whitman showing a little 2-2-1 pressure. Fell back into a zone. Usually the key with the zone is you're trying to stop dribble penetration, force some jump shots, but you got to be able to rebound out of the zone. Most teams try to beat the zone. Again, dribble penetrate, get the ball into the high post. Tough three by Looney. Nyquist able to battle the rebound, though, out to Parlin. Off the mark. Garkberg's going to get... I thought Garkberg was going to get called for the foul, but it looks like Looney called for the foul. 2 on Looney. Fourth team foul, and now we're at the under 4 media. So it'll be Whitman basketball down 12, 3:43 remains. .343 to go, first half. Whitman trails by 12. With the ball, though, again, still just struggling to find anything consistently offensively. Just 27% from the floor, 6 for 12. Mehmet Benner has 9. Again, averages, I think, about 5 on the season. Yeah, 4.8. But Benner 2 for 4 from 3. Another bucket from the floor, and then 1 free throw. Ali Faishik has 3 boards. Nobody with more than 2 assists for the Blues. Whitworth led by the 8 points of Stephen Behill. And then a couple players with 5, Colton Looney and Ben Nyquist, both with 5, as well as Brian Caldera. Whitworth is leading the rebounding 17-10, but no second chance points yet, so. Shadranitz, Garkberg, Benner, Higgins, Desi for the Blues. Crone, Nyquist, Parlin, Behill, and Bateman for the Pirates. Looks like Whitman maybe trying to get Benner loose since he's had the hot hand. Garkberg around to Higgins. Higgins will try the 3 off the mark. Shadranitz called for the foul. Say a push in the back, just the first on Milos. But again, that's going to be 17 fouls. And that'll lead to free throws because that's not a player control foul. Aliyah Faishik in for Milos. Milos just having a little conversation with the official about the call there. So 2 here for, or 1 and 1 here for Crone. Again, Crone, we already talked about, 6'4" sophomore out of Renton, Washington. Doesn't do a ton of scoring for the Pirates, just 4 points a game in about 11 minutes. 82% free throw shooter on the season, though. Goes 1 for 2. Ishik away with the rebound. Sarp trying to come off, use that high post. Benner maybe thinking about the step back 3, changing his mind. Trying to get it into Desi. Kick there by Nyquist. That should be a kick by Nyquist and a reset. .12 on the shot clock here. I don't know why that's not a reset. That was clearly a kick. Sarp to take it out. Edwards back in for the Blues. Just 12 on the shot clock now, though. No reset after a kicked ball, which I'm not really sure about. Desi coming down the middle, unable to get it into Ishik. Ishik kind of stuck, shoots a little jumper, ball batted around, and Crone away with the rebound. Desi was trying to go over the top of Parlin. Harlan getting downhill, gets in the lane, unable to finish. Ball batted around again. Desi with the rebound, ahead to Benner. Benner's pushing it. Garkberg down the lane. Great opportunity, but off the mark. Harlan ahead with the rebound, trying to throw it ahead to Behill, who just came back in, but picked off, I believe, by Benner. Might have been Sarp there. Come together screen, blown up by the Pirates. Garkberg down the lane again. Harlan tries to take the charge. Crone gets out in the passing lane. Able to finish over Ishik. 30-second timeout for Coach Toblonsky. Caldera is going to come back in. We'll stay with you here because it's just a 30. First timeout called by the Pirates. Again, remember, both teams get 3 30s and a full to start the game. And one of those 30s, if you don't use it in the first half, then you lose it. So you see most coaches use at least one 30-second timeout in the first half, and that's why they're not, it's got a little bit of a strategy to make sure you get that timeout at some point. You don't want to just, have it go away at halftime. So Whitworth back up 15 here. Again, Whitman really struggling to score on the offensive end, just 18 points. Again, only scored 55 on Saturday night, so been in a little bit of a slump here. The 55 points on Saturday wasn't due to poor shooting. It was more due to turnovers and a limited number of possessions. Tonight, it's just been unable to knock down a shot. Just 6 for 25 right now for Whitman. So Whitworth 14 for 29, 48%. Whitman 6 for 25, 24%. Both teams with 4 threes, though. Whitworth's been playing man-to-man the whole time. Again, their length really seems to be bothering Whitman a little bit. Fotu, maybe had it if he took a look there. Higgins trying to get in the lane, back to Fotu. Fotu's going to go to work on Behill. Nice little jump hook, but off the mark. Sharanitz unable to dig it out of there. And said Crone. Benner jumps the outlet pass, and they're saying Benner tipped it out. So it's Benner, Sharanitz, Garkberg, Fotu, and Higgins. For the Blues, Nyquist with the ball, getting in the lane, looking for Behill in the corner. Got it with Edwards, Caldera, and Crone. So Whitworth got the Blues doubled up right now, 36-18. Whitman needs to find something to get themselves going here. Fotu in the lane against Edwards. Kicks it out to Benner. Benner back to Fotu. Fotu trying to go to work on Edwards. Edwards, pretty good post defender, though. Fotu gets stuck, has to throw it out off of Edwards. So 8 on the shot clock, 1:10 to go. Again, Edwards has always been known for his defense, always been a very good defender for Whitworth. Whitman trying to get Higgins open here. Higgins gets loose, tries the 3, got it. There we go. See if Whitman can get Higgins loose for a couple of things here, a couple of jumpers here late. Higgins now 1 for 3. That's his first bucket of the night. Under a minute to go. Nyquist getting down the lane, kicking opposite to Crone. Crone's going to give it a shot. Off the mark. Garkberg away with the rebound. Whip to the table to check back in. Not sure who he's coming in for. Nice back cut by Sharanitz. Sharanitz probably gets hit there by Crone, but nothing doing. Sharanitz, though, with the lay-in. So a little 5-0 run here for Whitman right when they needed it. See if they can get one more stop. We're about 9 seconds difference between game clock and shot clock. So Whitman will get one more possession here. See if they can get a stop first. Nyquist in on Benner. A little late with the call. Benner with his third. So that's a big one. So Nyquist not only gets a chance for the three-point play, but picks up a third foul on Benner. Not really. So Nyquist to the line, second leading scorer for Whitworth, 14 points a game. Again, Benner on the court with 3. Garkberg to inbound, 22 seconds left. Freed and Westermeyer back in for the Pirates. So Whitman with the ball, shot clock off, 18 seconds. Behill, Gartberg into foe 2. Benner trying to back cut, maybe Freed. Benner comes off, gets in the lane, pull-up jumper, got it. So Benner with 11. Ty and Behill for leading honors. Westermeyer with the runner off the glass. And Whitworth will take a 14-point lead to halftime. We'll take a short break, get you ready with some first half stats when we come back. About 5 minutes to go before the start of the second half here. Halftime stats. Again, Whitworth up 39-25. So Whitworth 16 for 33 from the floor for 48.5%. 5 for 13 from 3, 38.5. And 2 for 5 from the line, just 40%. Led by the 11 points of Stephen Behill and 8 points by Ben Nyquist. 5 rebounds by Behill. 3 for Caden Bateman. And then 2 assists for Nyquist. Whitworth with 20 rebounds, only 5 turnovers. Whitman, 9 for 29 for 31%, so a little bit of an uptick there at the end of the half. 5 for 15 from 3, 2 for 4 from the line. Mehmet Benner with 11 first half points. And then 3 points for Ali F. Aishik, Ken Higgins, Jacob Fotu, and Sarp Garkberg. 4 rebounds for Ishik, 3 for Desi. No Whitman player with more than 1 assist. 13 first half rebounds for the Blues, only 5 first half turnovers. So, turnover issue fixed. Making shots unfixed. Again, Whitman didn't have a hard time making shots on the weekend, Friday and Saturday, but had a hard time keeping possession of the ball. So they're going to have to find a way to get some shots knocked down here in the second half. A little bit of a push there right towards the end of the half. I believe it was 36-18 at one point, so a little 7-3 run to end the half. Going to need a little bit more of that here to start the second half. Try to get this, again, can't make up 14 points in one possession, so there's no sense trying. Again, what you'd like to see from the Blues is by the under 16 media, if you've got this to 7 or 8 points, that means you're headed in the right direction. Again, all you got to do is make up, 3 to 4 points every 4 minutes, and you're going to be right in this thing at the end of the game. Okay, going to continue to have to try to make things difficult for Whitworth. Not a ton of second chance points for Whitworth. Actually, currently right now it's 0 each. Points in the paint, 14-6 in favor of the Pirates, so Whitman needs to even that up a little bit. But overall, just got to make some shots. Looks like Whitman maybe, little too concerned with the officiating, kind of a little just unsettled with each other. So hopefully they got that worked out at halftime. I was watching Whitman went in right away, but I was watching the Whitworth coaching staff. It was interesting. Coach Jablonski, I think still with 10:31 on the clock at halftime, was still out here talking with his assistants. It looks like they were kind of really organizing the couple of things they wanted to fix and talk to their guys about. He had his whiteboard out, or his grease board out, writing down a few things as a few of the assistants were sharing concerns they had, it looked like. So, you see not every coach goes in the locker room right away, but they usually kind of, get back towards the locker room and go in fairly quickly. But Coach Jablonski waited till, he wasn't in the locker room before the 10-minute mark. So it took about 5 minutes to really organize his thoughts. Again, Coach Jablonski's won a ton of games, so I just found that fascinating. Thought I'd share that with folks at home, that, really talking to his staff and really getting his thoughts clear about what they wanted to fix for the second half. Again, I'm sure Coach Lamanna talked about, staying together, not coming apart and kind of complaining at each other, because there was a little bit of that in the first half. And then just keep shooting the ball with confidence. They created some good looks. Just got to keep doing that and shoot the ball with confidence and knock down some shots. Again, Mehmet Benner, nice surprise, averaging under 5 points a game on the season, had 11 in the first half, stepping it up into some extra minutes because of the injury to George Lazarevic. We saw Luke Johnson play some of those minutes over the weekend. Haven't seen him yet. Have seen Julian Witt in a little bit for the Blues. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where Whitman goes here to start the second half. Looks like Ishik's going to start the half on the bench from the looks of it. Interesting. So it's going to be Whitworth basketball. Whitworth won the tip, but Whitman got an alternating possession at the 14-13 mark. And so we got Sarp, Garkberg, Mehmet Benner, Milos Sharanitz, Ken Higgins, and Jacob Fotu out for the Blues. Ben Nyquist, Stephen Behill, Caden Bateman, Ty Edwards, and Colton Looney for the Pirates. As we're about to get underway for the second half, Benner, 3 personal fouls, so Benner's got to be smart here. Pretty physical defender, guarding a pretty good offensive player in Nyquist. Garkberg makes it tough for Behill. Ball batted around. We're going to stay here. Higgins, they say, held the arm of, I believe it was Colton Looney, as he was going for the rebound. So Higgins, second. Team first for the second half. Fresh 20 for the Pirates. They'll get it moving again. Edwards in the high. Edwards had some success against Fotu, backing him down. Nyquist going to step behind that screen off the mark. Garkberg battling with Behill. Behill shoots a little fadeaway over the top. Gets the shooter's bounce. Again, a little bit of a height mismatch. Behill at 6'7". Sarp listed only at 6'4". Benner behind the screen, off the mark long, but Fotu with the rebound. He goes right back up, off the mark. Behill away with it, over the top to Bateman. Bateman with Benner back. No foul called. Benner again with those 3 fouls. Got to be careful. Ball batted around. Sharanitz away with it. And they're going to call a travel in the backcourt on Sharanitz. Interesting. I didn't necessarily see it, but I wasn't really looking that close. So Ali F.I. back in for Sharanitz. I think Coach Lamanna talking to Milos about making sure you secure the ball. You just need the ball secured. You don't need to have the run out there. Fotu trying to save it. On the rebound to Benner. Ball gets tipped by Whitworth, and it'll be Whitman basketball. Whitman, again, that really good look by Benner on the first possession, just unable to knock it down. Out to Ishik. Here's that this is the action we saw Whitman run a lot in the second half against, I think it was Pacific. Benner open in the corner. Got it. Nice find by Fotu. Benner's player came off, tried to double Fotu real quick. Fotu able to see it kick out. Nyquist getting downhill, going at Benner. Foul, I think, is going to be on Benner. That's going to be 4. 4 on Benner. Nyquist will get a chance for the 4-point play. Xavier Santana, who started the game, he'll come in for Benner. So Benner will go back to the bench for a while here. Nyquist stepping to the line. Nyquist 1 for 1 already from the line. Now with 10 points, trying to make it 11 and complete the 3-point play. Off the mark. Good job by Garkberg to get in there. So Garkberg, Fotu, Ishik, Santana back in. Xavier Santana, the 6'1" first year out of Clarkston, Washington, with Higgins and Garkberg on the weak side. Looney, Nyquist. Oh, nice slip there by Santana. Fotu with another nice pass. 2 assists for Jacob Fotu here early in the second going. So Nyquist, Looney, Edwards, Behill, and Bateman for the Pirates. Whitman trying to be physical on those cuts. Santana got to be careful there. Almost got his hand caught in the cookie jar by Nyquist. Edwards has some success going at Fotu. Good job by Fotu this time to stand him up. Good box out, ball batted around. It's going to be out off of Looney. And so Whitman ball down 13. Good defense there by Fotu to force Edwards into about a 14-foot jump hook. Not necessarily what most coaches want. Most coaches don't want the jump hook from 14. Bateman trying to contest Fotu. Fotu looking to try, maybe get another assist here. Distributing the ball well here in the second half. Garkberg into Fotu, this time with Looney on him. That's a little bit more of a favorable matchup for Fotu. Fotu creates some space. Jump hook, but then Bateman throws it back. Edwards picks up the foul and maybe hurts a shoulder here on the rebound on Ishik. So Edwards with his first, team first in the second half. Bernard Desi back in for Fotu. Fotu exerted quite a bit of energy there on those last couple possessions. Higgins to pop out, gets it back to Santana. Santana's going to try the three, off the mark. Bateman with the easy rebound. Behill wants it. Too long of a pass. Behill trying to cut in on Garkberg. A little bit of a mismatch. Behill fade away. Got it. Behill now with 15. Again, fourth leading scorer in the conference, averaging almost 18 a game. Getting going here a little bit to start the second half. Ishik trying to get in the lane. Finds Santana cutting behind. Santana's trying to throw it into Desi. Now it's going to be Higgins' turn to throw it into Desi. Back out to Santana. Santana up fakes, gets in the lane. Back to Desi. Desi, little 15-footer. Off the mark. Nyquist with the rebound. Whitworth getting organized here. Behill wants it on Santana. A little bit of a mismatch. Somebody's going to have to help. Santana, good job pressuring Behill, though. Good job moving his feet. Nyquist gets downhill. Ooh, wow. Kind of snakes through the help side defense there. Whitman, and gets the little left-handed scoop lay-in for Whitworth. Back to 17 is the lead. Sharanitz at the table ready to check back in. Nice back cut by Higgins, but Bateman, good job of switching. Bateman's length able to stop Higgins from getting the shot there. Good Garkberg trying to get in. Unable to get anything going there. Good defense by Behill to just stay grounded and stay in front. Able to clean up the rebound as well. Nyquist trying to go by Santana. They're going to call a foul on Santana. And that'll take us to the media timeout. So Santana picks up his second, team second. So with 15:36 to go, Whitworth's up 17 with the ball. $15:36 to go. Whitman trails Whitworth 47-30. Whitworth has the ball after the Whitman foul there. It was called on Santana. Nyquist trying to penetrate in. Santana getting a little too handsy, according to the officials. Yeah, nothing's really changed. You know, Whitworth with an 8-5 advantage here in the second half. Whitman still just shooting 25%, 2 for 8 from the floor, 1 for 3 from 3. So still hasn't been able to really get anything going offensively in terms of any type of rhythm or confidence. That's got to change here pretty quick because, again, we talked about it, the under 16 media. If you were Whitman, you kind of wanted this back to like 7, maybe 9. Single digits would have been great after being down 14 at half. To have it stretched out to 13. Coach Lamanna working the officials there on something. Whitman coming out in a zone, so showing that kind of, I think it's a 2-3. Nyquist able to find Edwards behind. Desi tries to contest, but Edwards with good patience. Again, we kind of saw Whitman play a lot of that this weekend, and oftentimes there was a player behind the zone that Whitman kind of was unaccounted for, and in that case, that was Edwards. Desi stepped up in the middle to help, and wings aren't pinching. Generally what you need is wings to pinch the block area as players get the ball in the high post and start to drive, whether that be a guard or a big. Fouls on number 5, Ty Edwards, his second team foul here in the second half. Milos will head to the line, 69.2% on the season. Milos leading Whitman in scoring, 7th in the conference and 1st in the conference in rebounds. He's got 3 now. Kobe Parlin will check back in for Bateman. Milos gets them both. Ishik picks up in the backcourt, shows a little bit of pressure, so now this might be, they're showing a 1-3-1, but the only way it'll stay a 1-3-1 is if Ishik stays at the top. Again, what we've been seeing from Whitman is a little bit of kind of in-out action where Ishik will drop into the high, Santana will run out and guard the opposite side. So that's why it's hard to tell if it's a 1-1-3 or a 2-3. See how they switch there? That wouldn't happen necessarily in a 1-3-1. Higgins trying to dig it out of Edwards' hands. Instead, is going to commit the foul. So Higgins now with 3. So a little bit of foul trouble here. Benner with 4, Higgins with 3 for the Blues. Behill steps behind the double and hits it. Santana into the front court, good crossover. He finds Higgins. Higgins tries to answer. Oh, rattles in and out. Santana tries to sneak under Edwards and tip out the rebound, but instead Nyquist is out on the run and finds Looney back behind the defense. Ball batted around. Parlin digs it out. Finds Nyquist. So Whitworth with a fresh 20. Looney in the corner. That's a bad guy to leave. Off the mark, though. Sharanitz with the rebound. Looney had already hit a couple out of the corner there in the first half. Little dribble weave action with Ishik. Gets the ball into the high. Sharanitz on Parlin with the nice spin. They're going to call a foul on Whitworth there, I believe, on the shot. It's going to be on Parlin, his first. Team third. That'll send Sharanitz back to the line. Just made a couple free throws. Milos getting himself going from the free throw line. Some subs coming in for Whitman. Sarp, Garkberg, and Jacob Fotu back in for Higgins and Desi. Sarp, 6'4", first year at Antalya, Turkey. Crone back in, Nate Crone back in, 6'4", sophomore out of Renton, Washington for Whitworth. Miller short on the second one, ball batted around, Parlin away with it. So 19-point Whitworth lead, 13:50 remains. Ooh, Ishik almost tips it. Santana kind of runs into Parlin a little bit. Skipping to Nyquist in the corner. Nyquist is going to try to penetrate, finds Parlin on the weak side. Sharanitz tries to contest, but too late. What was it? I think it was 2 years ago, so I think it was 2024 championship game here. Whitworth made something like 11 straight threes in the second half against Whitman. It was a tight first half game, really good game, and then just ended up really stretching out because Whitworth just got unbelievably hot. Behill with the foul on the drive by Ishik. That'll be Behill's first, team fourth. Ishik headed to the line. 70.5% from the free throw line on the year. Ishik, the 6'4" junior out of Bursa, Turkey. Stepping to the line for 2. Down 22. Gotta make some type of run here. At this point, even if you could have it down to 14 or 15 by the 10-minute mark, you'd feel a lot better about the way things are going. 22. It'd be tough to make up 22 in less than 10 minutes if you don't start to reel things back in here pretty quick. Whitman again, kind of that 1-3-1, three-quarter court pressure. So this looks like a 1-3-1 because now Ishik's just staying at the top, not rotating. Find Behill in the corner, but Edwards able to rebound. Hardest thing about the 1-3-1 is rebounding the basketball. Really hard to rebound out of a 1-3-1. Fotu guarding Edwards. Whitman had the rebound, but instead Behill finds it. Short though, batted around again. This time Santana able to get away with it. Good job by Santana to dig out that second rebound. Ishik trying to look at Fotu. Instead, is going to drive by Behill. A little too hard on the lay-in. Behill out, able to get the rebound. Behill's closing in on a double-double. Crone's going to drive in. Santana maybe had a chance to take the charge and instead kind of bails out and goes for the reach. Gets called for the foul. That is Behill, and he's got a double-double. 15 and 10 for Behill. So Santana with his third. 5th team foul. That'll send Crone to the line. Crone, again, 82% on the season coming in. Westermeyer, Bateman, and Freed back in for the Pirates. Witt and then Luke Johnson checking in. Luke Johnson, the 6'2 first year out of Bellevue, Washington, checking in for the first time tonight. Ooh, I think Ishik just committed a lane violation. No call. Whitworth wanted a push. Coach Jablonski asking the officials about it. Fotu popping out. Milos with a little bit of a mishandle. Deflection there by Bateman. Witt looking for Milos. Milos lost his defender, but Bateman came over, blocked it with the left hand. Nice block by Bateman. Milos just didn't see him. Westermeyer gets stuck, but they're going to call the foul instead. I believe on Sharanitz, yep. Milos' second. Sixteenth foul, so that's a little bit of trouble for Whitman because Whitworth is now going to be in the bonus on the next foul. So Whitworth shooting free throws the last 12 minutes of the game. Coach Jablonski still working the officials over there on the baseline. Parlin gets in the lane, 15-foot pull-up off the mark. I think they're calling on Julian Witt. Yep, Witt's second, pushing the back on the rebound. And we'll go to the under 12 media timeout. Whitworth basketball, right baseline, fresh 20, up 21. .11:58 to go, second half. Going to be Whitworth basketball. Whitman needs something to start breaking their way here pretty quick. Just want to express our many thanks to the W Club for its support of our Whitman student athletes and athletics programs. The W Club exists to enhance excellence in varsity athletics and the student athlete experience, as well as help fund assistant coaches, international travel, and operating expenses. Head over to www.whitmanblues.com to make a donation and become a member. Yeah, Whitworth shooting 45%, 39% in the second half, so they've cooled off a little bit, but Whitman just 18% in the second half, 27.5% for the game. They are shooting 32% from three, and also down 12 on the glass. The points in the paint are now 24-8 in favor of Whitworth. And Whitworth starting to make, going to start to make a little bit of a parade to the free throw line here, because Whitman now with 17 fouls, so every foul from here on out is a shooting foul unless it be a player control foul for the Pirates. This is Bateman headed to the line. Bateman, junior eligibility-wise, senior in school out of Missoula, Montana. Transfer from University of Montana. Hits the first one. Makes them both, and the lead's up to 23, which I believe is the biggest lead of the night for the Pirates. Yep, it had been 22. Into Milos. Milos has it deflected out by Crone. So Whitman really seems to try to be posting up Milos on Crone, or I believe he's had Parlin on him a couple of times too. Witt running off the flare screen, thinking about the three. Instead's going to get it out to Ishik. On ball there. Desi rolling to the basket. Milos is going to try the three out of the corner. Off the mark. Witt battling for the rebound. Does a good job. Finds Milos in the middle of the lane. Milos up. Off the mark. Again, Whitworth's just got Whitman a little bit sped up. Parlin got it. And Whitworth's playing really comfortable right now. Up 26. 11:21 to go. Whitman just unable to get any type of offensive flow going into Sharanitz. Foul's going to be on Crone. That's going to be 5 team fouls on the Pirates. First on Crone. Whitman will get a fresh 20, have the ball on the left baseline here. Ishik to inbound. Whit running off the double screen. Uses the on ball, thinks about it, nothing doing. Going to throw it into Desi this time. Still Crone in on the block. Seems to keep getting switched on the post players. Ishik battling his way through. Going to call a foul here, I believe, on Westermeyer. Yep. Dylan Westermeyer, his first. 6'6" sophomore out of Oregon City, Oregon. Ishik headed back to the line here. And Ishik got his, broke 1,000 points on Saturday night. Was sitting at 1,002 coming into tonight. He's now got 6. Trying to make it 7 at the line. So you got Luke Johnson, Julian Witt, Ali F.I. Ishik, Bernard Desi, and Milos Sharanitz for the Blues as Ishik goes 1 of 2 but digs out the rebound. Freed, Parlin, Edwards. Freed, Parlin, Crone, Bateman, and Westermeyer. Travel called there on the Blues. Just the 7th turnover for the Blues. Nice steal by Ishik, finds Witt underneath. Witt almost mishandles it and almost gets it blocked from behind, but able to get it off in time. Desi rotates over there on the press, so Whitman trying to create some extra possessions with some pressure here. Whitworth content to just run it down. Parlin's going to try another 3 off the mark this time. Desi asking for the same push that was just called on Whitman here not too long ago. Ty Edwards will check back in for the Pirates. He's in for Crone. So the Pirates get longer again here. Ishik into the front court. Trying to get it into Sharanitz again, this time guarded by Edwards, so that matchup's probably advantage Whitworth. Desi, nice take down the middle. Nice drive down the middle, little finger roll over the front of the rim. Gets it back to 21. Westermeyer guarded by Johnson. Johnson did a great job on Herboka, Anthony Herboka from Pacific on Friday night. Herboka, the league's leading scorer. Ooh, Freed with a nice little floater in the lane. Looks like Looney and Behill ready to check back in for the Pirates. Trying to get it into Sharanitz again. Sharanitz ready to go at Edwards. This time, foul's going to be called on Edwards. His third. Sharanitz will head to the free throw line. Milos 3 for 4 from the line tonight. This is the first. Colton Looney, Stephen Behill, Ben Nyquist back in. So it looks like starters back in for the Pirates. 63-40 as the Pirates try to extend this and kind of put it away a little bit. Whitman making it feel a little bit like they might make a little run here. 1 for 2 at the line by Sharanitz. A little full court pressure here by Whitman. Broken pretty easily by the Pirates. See if a trap will follow. No, Behill's just going to try the 3. Got it. So Behill now with 21. Coach Lamano will go back to Mehmet Benner. Remember, Benner's been on the bench since about the 18-minute mark with 4 fouls. Had 3 in the first half. Ishik thought about the 3. He's going to get in the lane instead into Desi. Desi's trying to find Sharanitz behind the defense, but Whitworth did a good job of collapsing, deflecting the ball. Ishik misses the 3. I don't know who the rebound foul is on. Foul is on Milos Sharinets on the rebound. He's now got 3. 8th team foul, so Ty Edwards headed to the line. Edwards, a 70% free throw shooter on the year. 1-1 here. Just the 8th team foul on Whitman. Edwards gets the first. One out of 2 for Edwards. Ishik with the rebound into the front court. Benner and Ishik with a mishandle there. Not really sure what happened there. I was kind of looking over to see what was going on the backside as they were trying to maybe get Benner open. Ishik's going to get the blocking foul on Edwards. That's going to be first one on Ishik. And that'll send Edwards right back to the line. 2 more for Edwards after just going 1 for 2. Edwards, 6'7" senior out of Sumner. Missed the free throw, but the ball ends up going out off of Whitman. Ball got tipped, unable to control it. Kirkburg back in. Whitworth the inbound. Behill thought about it. Goes by Luke Johnson. They're going to call the foul and count it. So Behill back to the line. Johnson with his first personal. 10th team foul, so everything will be 2 shots for the Pirates from here on out. Pirates up 28. Behill trying to make it 29. Behill's got, I think, 24 himself. No, just 23. Trying to make it 24. Whitman, 1 rebounder short on the line. That's a little bit of a mistake. Went in anyway, so it didn't really matter. So a 29-point lead, under 9 to go here, second half. Kirkburg into the front court. On ball by Desi, trying to get Desi posted up. Good hand by Bateman there. Kirkburg got it back at the top. Gets in the lane, kicks out to Johnson. Nyquist runs through the gap. Deflects it out of bounds, so it'll be Whitman basketball. 8 on the shot clock, 8:23 remaining. We'll have to go quick now. Benner, got to go. Shoot the pull-up off the glass. Knocked down, no foul called. Bateman away with the rebound. Whitworth into the front court, kind of being patient. Bateman on Benner, over the Benner with the mismatch. That'll be Benner's 5th, so he's done. That'll send Bateman to the line for Whitworth. Xavier Santana will check back in. Remember, Santana's got 3. Bateman just 50% from the line on the year, misses the first. Number 30, Carson Talbert, in for the first time tonight for the Pirates. Talbert, 6'7" senior out of Maple Valley, Washington. Tahoma High School. Bateman 1 for 2. And the lead's at 30 for the first time tonight. Again, Whitman just really has had a hard time getting anything. There's a good looking shot from Whit, but off the mark. That's kind of what it's been tonight. Even when they create good looks with good offensive movement, just really been off the mark. Nyquist getting in the lane on Johnson. That's Talbert. Talbert trying to step through, gets back to the right-handed jump hook, off the mark. Desi tips it. They're going to say out off of Desi, and we'll go to the under 8 media timeout. 7:41 remains. Whitworth basketball with a fresh 20. But the Blues are trailing the Pirates 41-31, 41-71. .7:41 remaining. Misspoke as we were going to break. As wishful thinking. I wish it was 41-31. 41-71. Whitman now just 4 of 18 in the second half, below 28% on the night. Whitworth hanging around high 40s, 47%. And again, rebounding advantage has 10 extra shots to the Pirates. Pirates have 16 trips to the free throw line, but just 8 of 16, so they've struggled from the line a little bit. Whitman, 9 for 14 from the free throw line. It'll be Whitworth basketball. Right baseline, Nyquist, Looney, Behill, Talbert, and Bateman up top. Whitman will come out with Garkberg, Xavier Santana, Bernard Desi, Luke Johnson, and Julian Witt. Looks like man-to-man. Looking probably for Behill off of some type of maybe back pick, cross pick. There's the back pick. There's the cross pick. Talbert slipping to the basket on Witt. He'll get the left-handed lay-in. So that's the danger of a shooter, a really good scorer running off of a down pick at 15 feet, is that gives the big a chance to slip that, and if the big defender helps. Nyquist jumps the passing lane, steals it from Desi, and he'll get the lay-in in transition. Looks like Caldera ready to check back in for Whitworth. Desi trying to distribute. Luke Johnson's going to try the three. Off the mark. Ball batted around. Talbert with the rebound. Up to Looney. Looney with another corner three. Off the mark. Desi battling with Bateman. Bateman able to tip it away from Desi, but Santana's there to pick it up. Santana gets in the lane. Finds Johnson cutting to the basket. Johnson goes up. He's going to get fouled. Calls on Bateman, his first. Team 8, so everybody's shooting free throws here the last 6:49. Johnson headed to the line. Johnson only averaging 2 points a game on the season. Knocks down the first. That's just his third and fourth free throw of the year. He's 1 for 2. So Caldera back in, Crone back in, Parlin back in, all for the Pirates. Pirates might start emptying the bench here, up 33. My mind keeps having some wishful thinking here. Johnson trying to knock down the second one. Gets them both. Whitman kind of had shown some full court pressure, but is kind of out of it at this point. Back to man-to-man in the half court. I think just working on their man-to-man. There's that brush screen again. Reverse brush screen. This time it was a back pick. So Crone, I believe, with the foul. His second. That's a player control foul, so that's why it's no shooting foul. Any type of offensive foul that happens in the motion of play that's not a rebounding foul ends up being player control. Garkberg down the lane over the top of Talbert. Sarp with 5 now. Parlin using the screen. Trying to get in the lane. Oh, carry. Parlin trying to go over the top of Witt. Witt doing a good job walling it up. Underhand pass to Talbert. 10 on the shot clock still somehow. Seems like a really long possession. Talbert in the lane, and they're going to call the foul on Johnson. Over a little bit late in the rotation. Seemed like the longest possession there. Fouls on Luke Johnson, his second. Talbert headed to the line. Again, Talbert, senior out of Maple Valley, Washington, misses the first. 50% free throw shooter on the year, now just 2 of 5. Westermeyer checking back in for Behill. Talbert will shoot a second. Off the mark. Parlin inside of Witt, but ball got batted around. Kirkberg away with the rebound. Gets it to Desi. Him and Desi working the two-man game over here. Sharp getting in the lane. Trying to find his way in. Able to find Witt on the back cut. So a bucket there for Julian Witt. Foul is on number 30, Talbert. Carson Talbert's first, 9th team foul. Witt will try to complete the three-point play. Julian Witt, just 6 minutes a game. First free throw of the season, averaging under 1 point a game. Ken Higgins back in for Sarp Kirkberg. Witt will try to complete the three-point play. Played some nice minutes tonight. Deep on that, ball batted around. Parlin with the rebound. So even Whitman just unable to get some, usually a second chance point team, but they're minus 10 on the glass and only 6 offensive rebounds tonight. That length of Whitworth. And again, Whitworth is the 3rd leading rebounding team in the conference. Talbert finds Parlin. Parlin gets fouled by Higgins. Higgins with 4 now. Higgins just 3 points tonight after he'd been on a little bit of a heater, averaging almost 18 points a game over the course of the last 4 games, but I think just 1 for 3 tonight. Parlin knocks down the first. Parlin hasn't missed a free throw in the season now. He's 7 for 7. Has 10 points on the night. Gets them both. Desi with the pick and roll down the front of the lane. Misses. Talbert with the rebound. Good look by Desi. Nice pass, I believe it was by Santana. Westermeyer with the 3 in transition. Just kind of dribbled it up, walked into it. Always used to love that one. Santana gets down the lane, finds Witt in the corner for a 3. Long. Johnson able to track it down. Finds Santana in the corner for a 3. Off the mark. Higgins tracks it down. Higgins off the mark. Witt with an offensive rebound. Witt's going to get fouled, I believe, by Crone from the backside. 3 on Nate Crone. And that'll send Julian Witt to the line. Great effort there by Witt. Really good rebound effort by the Blues. 3 or 4 offensive rebounds on that one possession. Just needed a little bit more of that a little bit earlier. Again, 2 really good looks out of the corner. 1 for Witt, 1 for Santana. Just unable to knock down either one. But Witt able to make the first free throw. So 4:36 to go. Witt with the second one, knocks it down. It looks like Whitworth will advance to 3-0. Again, I believe they have Linfield next weekend as well, so I think they'll play Linfield on Saturday because Whitman has Linfield on Friday. Women's game at 5:30, men's game at 7:30. Whitman will play their next 3 on the road at Linfield, at Lewis and Clark, at George Fox. That's Talbert with the little jump hook in the lane. So Whitman will fall to 1-2 in conference, so that'll be a big road trip. Got to probably get 1 or 2 of those to stay in the hunt there. Johnson with the 3 off the skip pass. There we go. Desi with the nice skip pass. Post players have done a nice job of distributing the ball. Fotu with a couple of early assists here early in the second half. Desi with the nice assist there. Parlin gets in the lane on Witt. Witt stays down. Does a pretty good job of contesting, but ends up fouling in the end. And that'll take us to the under 4 media timeouts. 3:46 to go. Whitworth line up 30. 3:46 to go. We were just talking up here as a group. Just kind of been one of those nights where everything on the offensive end for Whitman has just seemed like a grind. Just nothing has come easy. Again, still under 30% from the floor, 16 of 55, 7 for 27 from 3. Mehmet Benner had 14 points tonight. He had a good night, 5 for 9 from the floor, 3 for 7 from 3, but foul trouble only allowed him 17 minutes, so it would have been interesting to see if he could have stayed out of foul trouble, if he maybe could have stayed out on the court a little bit more, helped Whitman get something going a little bit offensively. So, out of the timeout, Jamison Atwood, 6'4" sophomore from Woodinville, Washington, in for the Pirates. Talbert, Parlin at the line with Caldera, number 20, and Westermeyer, number 12. Xavier Santana, Ken Higgins, Bernard Desi, Julian Witt, and Luke Johnson out there for the Blues. Again, at this point, you're just trying to get something out of this last 3:46. Run your stuff, get some rhythm. Maybe try to get Ken a couple more shots, keep his rhythm going. Johnson just hit one in the corner. It'd be nice to get him going so that if he sees some minutes this weekend and the next couple of weekends, because who knows how long Georges out. So if Johnson could be an offensive threat over the next couple of games, that would be nice. Yep, there we go. Get him one. In and out. Man, so many of those. Desi, though, with the offensive rebound and the up fake. Lucas Meisner will check in next dead ball for the Pirates. Number 21. 6'7" senior out of Issaquah, Washington. There's Atwood. Again, just a sophomore for the Pirates, so he'll start to see some more time as these seniors graduate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seniors for the Pirates this year. So, very experienced team. Nice pick and roll there with Santana and Desi. Bernard now with 6. Nice little lob pass over the top of the pick and roll defense by Xavier Santana. Atwood finds Talbert. Talbert looking to go at Desi. Decides against it. Westermeyer is going to try to get in the lane. Pull-up jumper over Witt. Off the mark. Good box out by Johnson. Santana into the front court. Thought about the 3 in transition. A little crossover. Finds Witt. Witt looks to drive down the middle. Gets collapsed on. Maybe missed Johnson. Tries to skip it to Higgins. Ball goes out of bounds. So in for the Pirates is Meisner, like we talked about. Number 1, Finnegan Anderson, 6'4", sophomore out of Yakima, Washington. Number 4, Aiden Buse, 6'6", out of Quincy, Washington. Hey, that's close to where I'm from. And then Atwood on the court. And then I think Caldera checked back in. Nope. Who'd I miss? Sorry. 14, Freed checked back in. Santana's 4th. So Jamison Atwood will head to the line. Atwood, 50% from the free throw line on the year, 5 of 10. 2.3 points per game for Atwood. Again, just a sophomore. Long on that. Crowd starting to thin out here in the Sherwood Center. Whitworth and Whitman fans alike. Off the mark, Witt with the rebound. Santana thought about throwing over the top to Higgins there. He's going to use the Desi pick and roll instead. Back to Johnson. Johnson's going to throw it into Desi. Desi up fake. Going to get fouled, I believe, by Meisner. Yep, Lucas Meisner, his first. Both teams are over 10, so I don't know exactly what team foul that is. Doesn't really matter at this point. It's 2 free throws every time. Desi headed to the line. Bernard, 6'7", senior out of Akragana. Averaging almost 8 points a game on the season, almost 59% from the floor. Just 48% from the line, but made some big free throws against Pacific the other night, late in the game. That helped seal that one up. A great comeback by the Blues to come back and beat the Boxers. Long on the second one. That's Atwood with the rebound. 86-57. We're under 145 to go here. Again, remember, Whitman travels to Linfield this weekend, Friday night, 5:30, 7:30 doubleheader with the women leading it off. Buse with the corner three. Witt on the run, misses. Buse there at the rim to try to contest. Ahead, that's Atwood again. He's going to get fouled by, hard to see if it was Santana or Desi. Going to be Bernard Desi. His first. Atwood headed back to the line. So I was saying Whitman on the road Friday at Linfield. And then next weekend on the road Friday and Saturday. Friday night will be at Lewis and Clark. That should be 5:30 and 7:30. And then at George Fox, I believe that's 3 and 5. But if you go to www.whitmanblues.com, you can check updated game times, viewing options, and ticket information for those 3 road games coming up in the next 2 weeks for the Blues. Higgins thought about the 3 in transition. So did Santana, instead trying to get it into Desi again. Bernard's going to look to go. Back out to Santana. Santana will try the 3 off the mark. Santana tries to chase down the rebound and throw it to Higgins. Mishandled. Freed away with it. He finds Atwood. Boy, the ball has found Atwood a lot here late. Atwood tries to skip it to Meisner. Luke Johnson steps in the path. He's going to shoot the 3 in transition. Ball bounces around. They're going to say it hit the wire up above the basket, so that's going to be out of bounds off of Whitman. Under a minute to go here. Whitworth basketball. So again, Whitman falls to 1-2 in conference, has those 3 big road games coming up. Again, probably would like to get 2 of those to stay in the hunt here. Don't want to get too far behind the pack early in the conference season. Ball batted around. That's Meisner away with it. Back out to Atwood. Still 6 seconds difference in the shot clock, so Whitworth's going to have to shoot it. Buse in the lane. He's going to shoot a little jump hook off the mark. Desi with the rebound. Shot clock is off. We'll see if Whitman tries to get one off or if Whitman just dribbles it up and dribbles out the clock to Higgins in the corner. Nope. Desi's going to have it back up top. We'll see if Santana tries to go here. Shoots the pull-up jumper off the mark. And that'll end the game. So, 87-57 is our final here. Whitworth on the road comes in and handles Whitman. Whitman just unable to make shots. Again, tune in this Friday. Keep an eye on the Blues as they travel to Linfield and play Friday night, 5:30, 7:30. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you back here in a couple weeks for the next home contest.
matter? Like the point difference doesn't matter if they play them next time?
Oh yeah, I mean, completely different game. You make some shots.
No, but like for the ranking on the table. In my league that I used to play in, it mattered because, let's say two teams had the same record. Then the loss that they played, they look at their.
I think points against and points for would figure in at some point, but it would have to be a pretty weird tiebreaker to get to that way. It's always going to go, head to head first, and then I don't necessarily